Welcome to Hockey Wiz Talks podcast. In this podcast, I'm going to be talking about players rumored to be on the move. In this podcast, I will talk about players who are rumored to be on the move. Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane is the top player available on the trade market now, but rumors suggest that Chicago could hold off on dealing the superstar winger until the trade deadline because that is when they can get the most in return for a player like Patrick Kane. Everyone knows what Patrick Kane brings, and he would be a very valuable asset to have for an extended playoff run. Teams interested: Edmonton Oilers, New York Rangers, and LA Kings. JT Miller. JT Miller's name has been floating around the rumor mill for the entire offseason, and while I don't see Vancouver trading him yet, I could see him being dealt at the trade deadline if Vancouver cannot agree to terms on an extension, as JT Miller is too valuable an asset to lose for free in free agency. Teams interested: New York Rangers, Pittsburgh Penguins, New Jersey Devils. Vladimir Tarasenko. Vladimir Tarasenko requested a trade shortly after the Blues named Ryan O'Reilly captain, but they still haven't found a trade partner for Tarasenko. After having a bounce-back year last season, his trade value has improved, but he still might not get moved until the trade deadline, which is when desperate teams will overpay for a rental player like Tarasenko. Teams interested: New York Rangers, Carolina Hurricanes, New York Islanders. And now a word from our sponsor. Check out my scouting blog at hockeywiz777scouting.com. Listen to my scouting blog podcast on anchor.fm/hockeywiz777scouting. Jonathan Toews. Jonathan Toews is another Chicago Blackhawk player who will be on the trade block, but he is more likely to be moved at the trade deadline due to his massive $10.5 million cap hit when teams are allowed to take on more cap. Toews would be a welcome presence on any contending team, and a rejuvenated Toews could be very dangerous in the playoffs. Teams interested: Colorado Avalanche and Boston Bruins. William Nylander. William Nylander is a player whose name has been on the trade block for years now, and while I don't think he will be moved, it's worth noting that he is one of their most valuable trade assets aside from Matthews, Marner, and Tavares. Nylander is 26 and is being paid $6.96 million per season for the next 2 seasons. If he can routinely put up 70 to 80 points a season, this is not that bad a contract. Teams interested: Philadelphia Flyers, Chicago Blackhawks, New Jersey Devils. Rasmus Sandin. Rasmus Sandin is an RFA and is currently still unsigned. With the Leafs' current cap situation, and with Sandin unhappy with his playing time, it would make him a valuable asset to use in a trade package to acquire another defenseman like Jacob Chychrun. The Leafs could also shop Sandin and look for the best offer for him, as there are no short of suitors for a young defenseman who has the type of offensive upside that Sandin does. Teams interested: Vancouver Canucks, Detroit Red Wings, and Arizona Coyotes. Check out my hockey blog at hockeywiztalkshockey.blogspot.com. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at hockeywiz777. John Gibson. While John Gibson never officially requested a trade, nor is Anaheim eager to deal away their star goaltender, trading Gibson would certainly fetch a lofty return. However, a trade for Gibson will be complicated because of the combination of what Anaheim is looking for in return, and because the team trading for him may not have enough cap space or the assets to do so. Teams interested: New Jersey Devils, Toronto Maple Leafs. Semyon Varlamov. Semyon Varlamov is much more likely to be dealt than John Gibson because the Islanders already have their number 1 goalie in Ilya Sorokin, and they might be eager to unload his $5 million cap hit. Varlamov would be an excellent fit on any contending team that is trying to make a playoff push, as he is a goalie who has performed well in the postseason. Teams interested: Vegas Golden Knights, Toronto Maple Leafs, LA Kings. James Reimer. With 2 other NHL caliber goalies on the roster in San Jose, James Reimer becomes expandable and is by far their most valuable trade asset amongst goaltenders. Reimer was solid in goal last season, and he should continue to be a solid 1B in the NHL on a team that is trying to make a playoff push. Teams interested: Toronto Maple Leafs and Vegas Golden Knights. In my next podcast, I preview the Atlantic Division standings in the NHL.